Hi there, this is Kevin from RogueDeckBuilder.com here with another video with Bug Immortal Servitude. This one is just a replay. I'd like to go over the Naya Blitz matchup. I've had a lot of questions about this matchup in particular and how well the Bug Immortal Servitude does. Because I've kind of been called out. I did say that this deck performs incredibly well against Naya Blitz, and I've got a bunch of people that don't quite believe me. I wish this would have recorded all three of the games, because the game that I did lose was to the God Draw, was to the Champion of the Parish into Burning Tree Emissary, and in this case Lightning Mauler came out, and it was just too much damage too quickly for me to handle. And I actually was on the play that time, so even their God Draw on the play is very hard for me to handle. But here's just this is a typical game of how Naya Blitz and Bug Immortal Servitude interact. This is post sideboard. I believe this was game number 2. So I lead off here with a Watery Grave. I keep this hand because it's got a Tragic Slip and it's got the Alchemist's Apprentice, Elvish Visionary, and Blood Artist. So great hand. And we'll pass the turn back to him. And he leads off with a Champion of the Parish, which is great. We can Tragic Slip it, which we will do. So I am going to put another comes into play tap land and not pay the life. And then we'll immediately Tragic Slip it. I guess I could wait and see what comes out and Tragic Slip in response to something, but the champion is usually public enemy number 1, and you always want to kill it as soon as possible, so there's no point to doing it on his turn versus doing it on my turn. So Thalia comes out. Thalia is a bit problematic because it can delay our Immortal Servitude if we need to get it off on the turn 5, but we don't even have it, so we have all creatures in our deck. So I just decided to put out a Blood Artist to get more value out of the Blood Artist when we start casting these chump blockers. So he goes with another Champion of the Parish, attacks in with his Thalia, and it is kind of a slow start. As you can see here, he just does have the Champion Thalia, and his third turn play is only a Champion. So yeah, this wasn't the strongest draw by Naya Blitz, but they can't have their God Draw every time. This is probably a pretty normal Naya Blitz draw. And especially if I wouldn't have had that Tragic Slip, it would have been a very powerful Champion of the Parish. So I'm going to play the guy that guarantees me a draw right off the bat and can chump. And I see the Golgari Charm, and I actually could... I couldn't quite Golgari Charm. I would have if Thalia wasn't out. Say this was another 1/1. But Thalia makes Golgari Charm cost an extra 1, so I couldn't Golgari Charm. So I'll just Rats him here, make him discard a card, and it ends up being a Sun Petal Grove. So pass the turn back to him. And he goes ahead and plays another Champion of the Parish, pumping his dude up to a 2/2, and then a Burning Tree Emissary. And then he has the Searing Spear. So that's all his cards. So this is turn 4 that he's able to play his entire hand. And so this is a 5-lander. I don't know, he might have kept like a 3-land hand and drew into 2 lands. But, I mean, this is, if you look at it, it's a pretty good hand here. This isn't a horrible hand whatsoever. I mean, this turn 4, he's got a lot of power on board. A 2/1, a 3/3, a 2/2, and a 2/2. So, and he is able to Searing Spear that Blood Artist off before I can get tons of value out of it. So he does attack in here. I can't double block anything. These guys still have Summoning Sickness, but I can chump if I want, but I decide not to. Next turn, this is awesome because I see an Abrupt Decay. That was a great draw because now we can Abrupt Decay and Golgari Charm. And so we can actually kill off a lot of guys here, and I'll show you how. So he's going to swing in with the Champion, everything here. And I'm going to just block a Ravenous Rats on a Burning Tree Emissary and an Elvish Visionary on a Champion of the Parish. Drop them down to 1 damage each. And Abrupt Decay the Thalia. So then I can actually cast the Golgari Charm. Or I think I do it the other way. Nope, that'd be stupid because Thalia is just a 1 toughness. So I cast the Golgari Charm for 3, and then I can Abrupt Decay the other champion. So we're in very good shape. So in response, I don't want the champions to get another counter from this Experiment 1. So in response to him casting it, we play the Golgari Charm. And then we are able to Abrupt Decay the champion. So yeah, we're still at 7. So yeah, it definitely wasn't a bad drive for Naya because on turn 5, he was able to get me to a 7. But now he only has an Experiment 1, which is only a 1/1. And then I've got the Alchemist's Apprentice, which draws me into, which I sack immediately because I thought I could cast something else. Draws me into a land, but I have got the Snapcaster back up here. So this turn I can if he were to cast anything, which he does cast the Flint Boar here to give it haste. And now he's got a 2/2 and a 2/1, and I started to cast Snapcaster, but that's pointless because maybe he wouldn't attack in if that was the case. So now he does attack in, and I will Snapcaster Golgari Charm and clear his board again. And so we're both out of cards here. I'm up 2 lands on him, though. So I think that Naya Blitz runs about 22, 23 lands, and that's what I run. So statistically, I'm ahead here because I've gone through more of my deck than him and have 6 lands out on board. So block here, Immortal Servitude gets me so much advantage. He can't do anything that do 7 damage in 1 turn. So I definitely have a couple turns to draw into something. I whiff there with the Drowned Catacomb, but he just gets a Mare, which isn't a threat at this point. It is a threat if I can't cast anything, but I do get the Snapcaster Mage. And if it's anything but a Mare, I wouldn't cast it, but I have to cast something so this doesn't flip. So I cast a Snapcaster Mage and Tragic Slip it. And that's the power of this deck. I mean, just 2 Snapcasters, Abrupt Decay, and a Golgari Charm. I mean, you've just got so much incredible card advantage from the Snapcasters. So we pass it back to him, and he gets his land finally, so now I'm really ahead here. Got a Snapcaster who can start beating him down. The Abrupt Decay kills whatever comes out, except for like a Rampager. I think it's the only thing in his deck that I cannot kill. So he doesn't play anything. Now I've got the Blood Artist. That's going to gain me some inevitable life back, and again swing in with the Snapcaster. And he does draw the Rampager, which could be a little bit problematic. Can't Abrupt Decay it, but I do draw into a Visionary, which is great. This is why this deck is very able to come back from games when you both clear each other's hands out, because a lot of my cards actually draw me cards. Snapcaster is basically a 2-for-1. Elvish Visionary draws me a replacement, and so does Alchemist's Apprentice. The Ravenous Rats are very weak at this point, but if I draw into Immortal Servitude, I get everything back, and then if I draw into my Sack Engine, that is a kill condition, especially with just 2 Blood Artists in the bin. So I mean, Elvish Visionary and Alchemist's Apprentice, and I decided might as well sack it. I could draw into some like a Tragic Slip, and what do you know, I do draw into a Tragic Slip, and am able to Tragic Slip the Gore Clan Rampager because Morbid is active since I sacked that Alchemist's Apprentice. This deck, Tragic Slip, is very, very good in this deck because of Alchemist's Apprentice. I love the way these 2 interact. Again, you had to beat him down, and now we're tied at 9-9, and he's got 1 card in hand. And he goes ahead and plays a Lightning Mauler, and I could Abrupt Decay, I just don't care about it. Lightning Mauler is very weak, and I can always Abrupt Decay in response, and I offer him a trade here. Of course, he doesn't want to take it. He goes down to 6. So he's hoping to pair this guy up, but I've got the Abrupt Decay. And he's Searing Spears here, so I thought I'd get an extra damage out of the Blood Artist before it dies by Abrupt Decaying his Lightning Mauler. And I go up to a healthy 10, now up to a healthy 11, and he's down to 4. So Front of the Minute comes out, and as long as I don't whiff, I mean, he can't attack. I can easily block here. He's got to draw into more threats here. I mean, the best thing you draw into is like a Gore Clan Rampager next turn, and I double block, and then he doesn't lose his medic, but he'd still lose a Gore Clan Rampager and only do a total of 5 damage, putting me at 6, which should still be okay. Plus, he's already wasted 1 Gore Clans in the bin here. Grizzly Salvage, I don't like to see into that Mortal Servitude, but I'm able to draw another Blood Artist, which now is very bad for him because I have 3 creatures on board, and yeah, if I chump block with everything, he's down to a 1. And he gets another Frontline Medic. Really nothing he can do to get out of this. He has to draw into like another Searing Spear to get rid of this Blood Artist and try to attack him for the win. And now I'm knowing that Ambush Viper is just a victor here. Even if he does pair these and attacks with everything, he'd go down to a 1. Or what I do is I just block, and then have a Snapcaster Mage to swing on the back end and kill him. So in a turn I do cast the Ambush Viper, and I know this game is mine because there's absolutely no way he can block or do anything here without dying. And there was other Blood Arts anyway, and I plop it out, and now he's big time dead here. Can't block anything, otherwise he's dead. And that's game. See, that's a typical Naya Blitz. He only drew 5 lands out of this. I believe we're in like turn 15. So you can't say that these were necessarily bad draws for Naya Blitz. That's out of 14 draws or 15 draws. Nah, 14 draws because it's my turn 15. He only has 5 lands and all of this ammo. Yeah, so, and we draw into a ton of lands, but we're able to filter through our deck with the Grizzly Salvages and whatnot and the Elvish Visionaries. So that's a typical Naya Blitz versus Immortal Servitude match. Happens all the time. Like I said, we have, usually it does come down to a 2-1 match, because post-sideboard, we are very powerful. A lot of times if they are on the play pre-sideboard game 1, they can take us down, but game 2 we get to go first, and usually with the 4 Abrupt Decays, 4 Tragic Slips, and 1 Golgari Charm, plus I do bring in the Ambush Vipers, we definitely have the edge. I think that this deck is much more powerful than Naya Blitz. And then game 3 can be a little bit frustrating when they do get their God draw, but if I go first and sneak that game 1 win, it is very, very hard for Naya Blitz to take 2 games in a row against us. Anyway, this has been a Naya Blitz versus Immortal Servitude replay. This is Kevin from RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.